Dear viewers, I hope you are well. Please watch the video without skipping any part. Thank you. Pedro and Chantel from the family Chantel have always had a tumultuous relationship, and there were signs that their relationship may not last. With the recent announcement of Chantel Everett and Pedro Jimeno's divorce, the family Chantel couple's fragile relationship has played out over the past 4 seasons. From fights with each other to fighting between their families, the couple's marriage never seemed to catch a peaceful break. Chantel and Pedro's union was wrought with feelings of disapproval and discord from the very beginning. These feelings became an outlining factor for their arguments with each other, and because of this, their marriage began to suffer. With a suffering marriage and constant miscommunication and other factors, the couple was ultimately set on a path toward its ultimate conclusion. Marriage is built on a foundation of trust that two people have with one another. When there is no trust between the two parties, this can cause other problems to arise within the relationship. As such, this was the case for Chantel and Pedro from the very beginning of their relationship and marriage. From 90-Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After, to the family Chantel, there were trust issues on both sides of the relationship. From Pedro feeling as though Chantel didn't trust him being in the Dominican Republic around his family and the Coraima situation, to Chantel not trusting that Pedro would actively stick up for her around his family, these two had serious trust issues from the beginning. As time went on, fans of the series and couple were able to see just how detrimental their trust issues were to their relationship. In the recent season of The Family Chantel, fans saw the couple face a multitude of disagreements and setbacks in their marriage. With Pedro getting a new job, the couple's time together has been cut short, leading to Pedro nitpicking at Chantel and Chantel left feeling unappreciated. In one episode, Pedro argues with Chantel about doing chores around the house and cooking. This leads Chantel to express that she feels unappreciated and feels that Pedro is ungrateful for all that she does around the house and in their marriage. Because of this argument, fans were able to see firsthand that the couple's marriage was on rocky ground. One of Chantel Everett and Pedro Jimeno's favorite pastimes seems to be arguing with each other. The two can't seem to agree on anything, and if they do, it usually comes after an argument. Marriage is all about compromise. However, neither party takes heed of this when it comes to getting what they want. From discussing small things like housework to understanding the other's likes, an argument seems to arise in the process. Seeing eye to eye and learning to compromise for each other doesn't come lightly. Their battling with each other takes away from the time they could be working as a team and building on their marriage instead of placing it in harm's way of a divorce. On multiple occasions, the family Chantel almost ruined Pedro and Chantel's relationship through their interference. The Jimeno and Everett clan have never seemed to get along from the beginning, with their disagreements leaving Pedro and Chantel on opposite sides with their respective families. From the infamous dinner fight between Chantel's brother River and Pedro to Nicole and her mother feeling they were entitled to Chantel and Pedro's money, the couple's family interference has been the cause of a multitude of their fights and distrust of each other. This distrust and fighting have resulted in Pedro and Chantel having to choose sides, usually siding with their family instead of each other, and making their union as one split into two. How another person speaks to others, especially their significant other, speaks volumes about a person as a whole. In the family Chantel, Pedro and Chantel seem to only know how to argue with each other. With every disagreement, there has never seemed to be a calm talk-through between the couple. Through their constant quarreling, only miscommunication and emotional turmoil are bred. In one instance, Chantel is left devastated as Pedro announces he wants a separation. However, Pedro seems to be just fine with his decision. These different emotions show that while one wants to fight for the marriage, another is willing to let it go. Marriage is a union between two people. However, this doesn't always remain the case. Earlier in their marriage, Chantel and Pedro were plagued by rumors of infidelity, and they came from the most unlikely of places: Pedro's sister, Nicole Jimeno. On an episode of The Family Chantel, Nicole announces that Pedro hooked up with one of her friends. This comment not only earned Nicole the title of one of the biggest villains of the season, but it also created even more tension in the couple's fresh marriage. This element proved to be a growing factor in the couple's fragile marriage coming into Season 4 of The Family Chantel, with Pedro's growing distance in the marriage and Chantel asking if he was cheating on her. One of the biggest obstacles Pedro and Chantel faced in their relationship and marriage was the interference and internal discord between their two families. Each of their families felt that the other was not good enough for the other, and this in turn seeped into the couple's arguments and their marriage. From Pedro's sister stating she wished he'd have married a Dominican to Chantel's family, feeling that Pedro was using her for a visa and her money. These feelings only seemed to heighten when the two sides got around each other. As a result of this, several fights break out. The stresses of their family disapproval and lack of respect for each other only caused fighting between Pedro and Chantel and cemented a path to divorce. One of many factors in the marriage of Pedro and Chantel came in the form of money. The two just couldn't agree on the handling of their finances, especially when it came to Pedro's family back in the Dominican Republic. One thing fans need to know about Pedro is that his mother and sister are protective of him when they aren't asking him for money. As a newly wedded couple, Pedro and Chantel's consistent fighting revolved around the fact that Pedro wanted to continuously send the family's money over to his mother and sister back home. As Chantel wishes to save their money, Pedro wants to continue to supply funds for his mom and sister, and this doesn't help with the couple's marriage. In the recent season of The Family Chantel, the fragility of Pedro and Chantel's marriage really shows. From a little argument over Chantel's way of cooking breakfast, this small argument overflows into some larger issues in their marriage. With Pedro's new job taking up most of his time, the couple rarely spends any time together, which has placed a strain on their marriage. Chantel makes this fact known, along with the fact that the couple's intimacy isn't what it used to be. This lack of intimacy, no matter how small, caused larger problems to take root in their marriage, leaving them each butting heads with the other. Before their divorce came to fruition, Pedro and Chantel were already on the path of separation before the couple even knew it. While Pedro was giving more time to his new job and company, his rare time at home was spent arguing with Chantel. Even though they're on TV, her failing marriage and sense of abandonment seemed personal to many viewers and were tough to watch. In one scene from The Family Chantel, Chantel expresses that Pedro doesn't talk and communicate with her like he used to. In turn, this leaves her feeling a sense of abandonment, with Pedro working 6 days a week and hardly being home. She considers his treatment of her to have drastically changed and caused their marriage to stray a little.
If you liked the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Your like will encourage us to make our next video. Thank you all.